What's up, everybody? This is Daniel Morris from DB Morris Photography, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to clean up your image. A basic image, no fluff, no MUA, no stylist, the kind of image that somebody that's just getting into the field would take. A lot of the images that you see on the internet and a lot of tutorials start out with pretty good images. I mean, great lighting, great MUA, great stylists, but in reality, most of us really don't shoot like that. We don't. You could learn on one of those images, but what happens when you try to apply those techniques to a basic image? Some images don't even need all that stuff. So what I'm here to do today is show you how to get your image to a point where it's clean, it looks good, and you can present it to the world. All right? So here we have a basic image, the kind of image that any of us would shoot, you know, at any level of the game starting out. And the first thing I see when I see this image is we have clarity down low, but it's a little blurry in the face. Just a little blurry in the face. And that's really not that bad. It's something that we can really work with. Next thing I see on here that I want to tackle is removing these cotton balls and lint and other things that's on the shirt. We want it nice and clean. We don't want to make it look like she just got up out of the bed. You know, kids get everything on them, and that's how that works. We also have beauty marks, blemishes. When it comes to other images, we're talking about pimples and sometimes birthmarks. You know, the client might want you to get rid of that or remove it. So we're going to work on this and get these nice and clean. Now, like I said, the first thing I saw in this image when I looked at it was the clarity or the lack of clarity in the face. And that's the first thing I want to tackle. Now, I'm going to walk straight through this. Let me get rid of all my layers. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm not going to do too much talking. I'm going to keep it slow, and I'm going to just walk through it. And you just follow along or learn the steps that I take to make this happen. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is add a new layer. Now, there's two ways to add a new layer. As you saw me, I just clicked on the new layer button down here at the bottom, and there pops up a new layer. Now, a lot of times, you know, keyboard shortcuts will help you save time. You know, this is can be a long process, and you want to cut off as much time as you can in post-production. So the shortcut for adding a new layer would be Shift Control N. Shift Control N. Pull up a new layer, name it, do a few other things, hit OK. All right. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to preserve my background layer. It's the original layer, and I want to refer to that layer throughout this whole editing process. I always want to look back and look at the original and see, you know, what I missed, anything else that I need to correct. Take it back to the original to figure out what needs to be done forward. So I'm going to take that layer and create a copy. Now what I'm going to do is grab it and drag it down to the new layers button, and it's going to give me a copy. Now there's another way to do that too, but I'm going to keep this real simple. So just follow along with me. Let's go back to the first layer right here. Now I said I'm trying to sharpen the image. So what I do is create a blank layer. I go up to the Images tab, come down to Apply Image, and then I set this Layers drop down to merged. Now I set it to merge because I just want the collective layers down here to show up. I want all of these right now, or I could have set it for the background copy. So let's just do that. Let's not set it for merge, let's set it to the background copy, because what I'm trying to do is mirror this copy. And if you look down here in the little window, you see a little black and white version of the black background copy. And I set this channel to red to give me a black and white. Click OK. Remember these settings over here. See that? You're good. Click OK. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is go to Filter. I'll go to Other. I click High Pass. 9 times out of 10, when I'm going to high pass and I'm trying to sharpen an image, I don't move my radius too much. I stay within 3 to 5 pixels for my radius. And for this image, keeping it simple, we're going to stick with 5 pixels for the radius. Click OK. All right. Now we're going to come down here. We come to this layer here, and we're going to set this layer to overlay. It's a blending mode is what it is. So we're going to set the blending mode on that layer to overlay. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference there, but it's just a tiny bit sharper than it was. Now click it off. See the blur? Click it on. It's a little bit sharp. Now the issue here is I sharpened the face, and since it's an overall layer and I sharpened everything, so not only did the face get sharper, well, let me go back and show you. Blurry, sharper. So not only did the face get sharper, but the sharpened part that was already sharp, even more sharper. And we don't want that. That's not what we want. So my next step would be I only want this portion of the face and body or of the image sharpened. So I'm going to come down to this button and I'm going to add a layer mask. Now with this layer selected, I click layer mask and I'll get this little white box here. Now the white box says that it's revealing or showing all that I've done as far as the conversion I've done to the layer. Well, I don't want to see it. So I'm going to invert that layer so I don't see it. Invert the mask, not the layer, with Control I. Turns to black. See, it's all fuzzy now. So now what I'm going to do is paint with a white brush. I come up here and I grab the brush. This is a brush here. All right. Now, being that it's black, it's hiding what I've done. So to reveal it, I'm going to use white. So I'm going to click that, and now our brush color is white. So now with the white selected, I'm going to paint over the areas at 100%, no doubt. So let me go over here, pull this up to 100%. Now I'm going to paint over the areas that I want to reveal the sharpness, okay? So as I do this, you'll see the sharpness coming up. Detail in the hair coming through. Necklace, chain. I want to get some of the shoulders. And down at the bottom here, you can actually see what I've done as far as the mask and the sharpening is concerned. All right. So now I think I've covered all the area that I want to cover. And there you have it. So now you can see it's just a little bit sharper right here. So now the image is a little bit more clear. And that's really what we want. That's where we want to be. That's exactly where we want to be. So the next thing I want to do is tackle the beauty marks that we spoke about earlier. Scars, scratches, and things of that nature. Now for this, I'm going to use a healing brush. Spot healing brush. I'll get into it with you later, but for this time right now, I'm going to select the healing brush tool. All right, and I'm going to show you what that does and how to use it. All right, so we click on the actual background layer because this is the layer we want to work on. And I'm going to sample an area around this mark. That's pretty good, fairly decent, pretty clean. Something that we can use, you know, a good patch of skin. So now I'm going to sample this area because basically what I'm going to do is copy this area and then place it over this area. That's the most basic way I can explain what's actually happening. And how you do that is you get over the area you want, you hold down Alt, and you'll get this little target, and then you click. Now you sample that area. And actually, you see me move it around? You see it actually moving? So what I'm going to do is actually click over that spot, over that area, and it's going to heal it. You see that? Click another area, did something different. Click here, did something different. This is how we're going to clean up our image. And I'm not going to speed it up like most tutorials do. They'll speed up and do all of this other stuff and say they'll get back with you. We're going to sit here and I'm going to work through this with you. We're going to get most of these marks. We're going to deal with most of them straight away. And I'm doing it on a grand scale. 9 times out of 10, I would zoom in maybe 100%, something like that, to really deal with it and deal with it out on a pixel level, or maybe a little bit before the pixel level. But to show you how to do this, I'm gonna just skip over and be fast. Now it's not gonna look the best, and I'm not going in like I would on one of my projects. This is just simple way to show you how to use the tools and what we do to clean up an area. That's all we're doing. Basic retouch. All I can do is show you how to do it, and your style is your style. So at some point, you're going to work these tools the way you were gifted to use them. We're going to back up, Control Z, Control Alt Z, because I don't like what I did. We'll deal with this area. All right, now see, I'm having an issue here, right? It's not selecting the skin I want or the area I want. It's giving me a real dark, it's a mistake, color here. So what I'll do is go up here and grab the patch tool. All right, let me show you what this patch tool does. You draw, you click, draw a little circle around it, and you move it to a clean area or area that works for you. You let go, and it'll give you a pretty good patch. Sometimes you have to go over it a few times, move things here, move things there. But this is how you use this tool. I'll show you somewhere else. Let's say this darker patch here. We'll take it and move it. You see that? Cleans it up. You know, little mark here. Clean that up. All right, I'm not going too far on this because I can do this all day. So let's back out of this. All right, so we're moving out. Now if you look down and look at the arms, let's look at what was, then what is. Cleanup, basic cleanup. You see that? This is what we're talking about. So now we've done it to the arms. Same thing we want to do to the face. We want to come in and clean up. Now you don't want to zoom all the way in and take every little mark out, because some of this is not marked. Some of it is actually skin texture. And you want to leave in skin texture on the face. Keep the person looking real and not like an alien. So we're going to do the same thing. Select the area. And then brush over that area. And what I'm looking for is like just major marks. Anything that's distracting, anything that catches my eye is distracting, or something you know that doesn't belong. We'll go back and straighten up things like that with the patch tool, like I showed you earlier. Once again, not too much. You know, just things that are distracting. We don't want to go all in on this. Now, this is not the type of image that we do that on. Sometimes what we're doing right now could take me maybe an hour or so. Sometimes 2 hours. Just with skin cleanup. Let's go get this patch tool and handle that mark up under the nose. Let's go ahead and handle that. Get that where it need to be. Might even want to handle a little piece of that. This mark here. All right. So we got that. And this is distracting. This is on the wall. I don't know what it is, but it's getting on my nerves. So I'm going to go ahead and move that and get that out of the way. Actually, I believe it's up here as well. There we go. Control D to get rid of a selection. So you got the selection lasso there. You want to get rid of it. It's Control D. Control 0 to put your image, the whole image back in the frame. All right. Now, let's take a look at the before and after. Remember, we said we want to keep the original layer so we can always go back and see what we need to fix or where we need to go. So I look at this layer by itself by holding down Alt and turning off the eye. See the mark on the wall coming back. See the marks on the arm coming back. That's what was there. This is what it is. So it's not bad for a little bit of work right now. Not bad. Now let's go and now that you know how to use the clone stamp or the healing brush, excuse me, let's go back and heal up these areas. Again, click on this layer. Now let's do this. This was our sharpening layer. So let's take the sharpening layer in our background copy and merge them. And you do that by clicking this layer, holding shift, clicking this layer. When you hold shift, you'll get both layers. Now what you want to do is right click if you're using a mouse and go up to merge layers. And what it's going to do is just basically combine those layers. So I'll go back and we'll go here. So this is what we've worked on so far. And I turned that layer off. This is what was. All right. So now let's go and clean up this cotton balls with the healing brush. So we're going to sample our area as normal. We got an issue. A lot of times we need to not drag, click. And sometimes you're going to have to do it a couple times. Sample a different area, click. Sample a different area, click. That's just the nature of the beast. You always want to sample the area next to wherever you're cleaning up. And as you can see, I didn't the last few clicks, but it still turned out okay. All right, what else we got? This here. Get rid of this one. Because I'm still sampling from over there, it gave me this really dark look. Get rid of that right there. All right, bring it down. Image is starting to look pretty good, eh? This is what we're talking about. All we want to do is clean up an image. That's it. Clean it up. You know, get it to looking good so we can present it. You know, there's a lot of human nature involved in this. You know, as far as, you know, people might have rips in their clothing, or, you know, maybe they didn't iron their clothes very well and there's a bunch of wrinkles you need to get out. That's what retouching does. Retouching pretty much fixes the things that we had no control over in the set. 9 times out of 10, you have total control over what goes on in the set. That's why the big budgets image looks so good. You know, they have somebody there with a steamer and a makeup artist to look at the image and say, oh, let me go in and correct that. You know, the makeup's blotchy. Let me fix that. So they don't do a lot in post, but they do post work. Everybody does post work. But the more control you have over what's actually going on before you take the picture, the less you have to do in post-production. All right. So I like the way that looks. That looks pretty decent. There's not too much more that I would do with this image as far as cleaning Anything else that I would do would probably be messing around, enhancing, or, you know, color balancing of anything, something like that. Taking rid of bags or stuff like that. Looks pretty good to me. Only thing I would want to do is maybe darken the shirt a little bit. It's purple. It's a nice color. But to me, it looks a little hazy. Looks a little bit hazy. So I'm going to go in and show you how to get rid of some of that haze. That's what I would call it. You know, you can call it anything you want to call it. But my way of doing that is coming down here to create an adjustment layer. So I come to the adjustment layer and I go up and I'm going to hit curves because basically I want to darken that area a little bit. In any image, your eye automatically goes to the brightest part of the image. This is a fact. So I really don't want, I want the color to be there in the shirt, but I don't want you to look at the shirt. I want you to go to her face. I want that to be the focal point of the face. That also helps when we shoot on thirds, and this image is not that. And that'll be for a later date. All right, so I'm going to take this in the middle in my colors. These are highlights. These are the darker parts of the image. These are the brighter parts of the image. So somewhere in the middle, because I want to bring them all down in this shirt, the lighter parts, you know, here in the creases and the darker portion behind the crease. I want to bring that down. So I grab it in the middle and bring it down just a little bit, just a tad, not too dark. Bring it to taste. Make it how you want it to be. All right, so I bring it down. Now remember, we had to hide the layer by hitting Control I. We inverted that mask so you couldn't see it, and then we brought it back with the white. So basically the same principle works here. We inverted it by hitting Control I, so we hid it, and now we're going to bring it back in the areas we want to see it. So now I'm going to bring it back in this shirt. As you can see, this is where I want to see that curve layer work. So I'm bringing it back. Just in the shirt, nowhere else. Nowhere else. Bringing it back in the shirt. Bringing that color down a bit. Because I want her face to pop. I want her face to be the focal point of this image. Especially when we didn't shoot on thirds. I'm going to draw your attention. Draw your eye there. And that should really do it. And let's click that on and off so you can see what we actually did. See that? It was all right here, but it's better here. Brings her face out. Give her more definition. Make your eye jump upwards. And pretty much that's it. That's all I do to clean up an image. No matter what the image is, the cleanup process is the same. Now, the time you do the cleanup process, that's a different story. So it might take me 20 minutes here to just clean it up, if that, because I'm actually talking. So realistically, it would take me about 5 minutes if I did this real fast, versus doing a big production image, you know, take me about 2 hours just to clean it up. This is the first and basic skill you need when doing post-production, image editing, or retouching, or whatever you want to call it. These are basic steps that you will always use to get your image where it needs to be. And I hope you understood some of the stuff that I was saying. I hope you got something out of it. And I hope that your next image, you can use these techniques just to clean it up and get your image looking sharp. Thank you for watching this tutorial. My name is Daniel Morris. Peace.